Phonics. Once upon a time, there were three different theories of reading instruction: phonics, whole word, and whole language. These competing theories have led to what is known as the reading wars, or sometimes the Great Debate. Scientific consensus indicates that phonics is more efficient, economical, and more widely beneficial as an initial instructional method than the other two. Mark Seidenberg sums it up perfectly. Learning to read is more difficult when the development of phonemic representations is impaired or discouraged by educational practices. Teaching the 26 symbols of English and their relationship to the 44 or so speech sounds is called phonics. Low phonological awareness is a barrier to early literacy, but can be skillfully addressed through phonics. Teaching whole words or contextual guessing does very little, if nothing, to increase phonological awareness. Not all phonics methods are created equal, though. To complicate matters further, there are three main approaches to teaching phonics: synthetic, analytic, and embedded phonics. There's also a method closely related to synthetic phonics called linguistic phonics. Both methods systematically and explicitly teach phoneme-grapheme correspondences, but linguistic phonics does so always within the context of a word, whereas synthetic phonics teaches graphemes and their common sounds inside and outside words. I find the debate between proponents of the two tedious, but if I had to come down in favour of one over the other, synthetic phonics would win, because of its wide application to the largest population of children. Phonics method number 1. You're shown whole words and asked to notice similarities between the words. Sometimes the words even have a picture beside them to help you figure out what the word is. Here's an analytic phonics set, for example. Look at the first letter in these words: mat, make, man, moo. You're directed to analyse the word and observe that the first letter is the same in all words. Therefore, that symbol must represent The teacher puts a list of words on the board and reads them to you. You practice writing the symbol and saying the sound for it. Then you get a worksheet with some pictures of various objects, and you have to put a circle round the words that start with This goes on for a while, and then you're introduced to a new set of words that begin with a different symbol. This goes on for about a year. You flutter around whole words in the hope that you can make the connection. Sometimes there'll be a chart on the wall, or a chart on your desk with boxes containing a picture to make you think of a sound and all the different wingdings that can make that sound. You're supposed to memorise all this and apply it to new words when you read and write. Some of you will have picked up that the symbols represent sounds, and will have even figured out the sound-symbol relationship in symbols you haven't been taught yet. This is called implicit learning and has a significant role in education of any kind. However, the majority of beginners need explicit teaching as a baseline for further learning. Some of you, though, will not have made strong enough connections, and by the end of the year, you'll not be able to read or spell much at all. Some of you will have difficulty remembering, accessing, stringing together, recognising, pronouncing and or writing the symbols, and by the end of the third year, you'll still not be able to read and spell much at all. Let's go to phonics method number 2. You're given a book with lots of great pictures and not much text. The teacher tells you it's all about dogs and the places they'll go. You talk about some of the places you think dogs might go. Here's the picture on the first page. What do you see? That's right, a dog in a car. I'm going to read this sentence to you, and then you point to the words and repeat the sentence. Listen, the dog is in the car. Repeat the sentence. Good job, you're reading. Ready for the next page? What do you think you might see on the next page? Oh, there he is. If you make a mistake, your teacher will tell you to look at the picture, and if that doesn't help, your teacher will ask you what makes sense in that sentence. What do you think it says? That's right, the dog is in the bed. You do lots and lots of this with lots of pictures and lots of prompts to do with the pictures, or maybe even the first letter. Now, read this. Can you read it? What word are you struggling with? Okay. Well, I'll help you. Look at the first letter. Did you get it? Have you got the word? No? All right, look at the picture. What do you see? What would make sense here? Go back and reread the sentence. Give yourself a running start into it. Get your mouth ready. Get your mouth ready. Do you know what this word is yet? Get your mouth ready. The dog is a great dog. I think there might be something wrong with you if you couldn't read that. You'll get lots of books like this sent home, and your parents will be told to use meaning or sentence structure cues to correct you. Some of you may have started to figure out the code. 6 months of this, and many of you will have memorized the pattern for some of our common words. Many of you will not, and some of you never will using this method. That's because it doesn't work very well at all. Whilst working on a draft of this section, one of my daughters came and sat next to me and asked me what I was doing. I explained that I was writing about the illusion of reading and showed her the dog pictures with the wingdings. She pointed to each word and read it all beautifully. Now that's barking at print. Phonics method number 3. I'm going to show you some symbols and I'm going to get you to practice the sounds. Ready? S, A, P, T, I, N. We've been repeating the sounds and practicing writing these symbols all week. If the pace is really good, I'm going to show you how to blend these symbols when they appear in groups, and you get to practice them from left to right, saying the whole word afterwards. Soon you'll be able to read these words, and you'll be able to sound out other words that your teacher hasn't even shown you. As with wingdings, there's one symbol or combination of symbols for every sound in the language. You'll learn and practice all of this in a systematic, logical order, going from simple to complex. With lots of practice and guidance, you and just about everyone else in your class will be reading and writing an ever-increasing range of words. Don't get me wrong, that's not all there is to reading, but it's a strong foundation. If taught systematically, it provides the means to lift the vast majority of children towards literacy, regardless of their background, their phonological awareness, or their oral language development. I should say something at this point about reading material. You have what's called decodable text, and that's controlled to match the sequence of teaching. It's a temporary scaffold and should only be used at the very beginning or for struggling readers. You also have predictable text, and this is what takes up the majority of texts provided in classrooms. Predictable text is designed to encourage guessing. It's also tied to expensive levelling systems. Literature is the goal of both systems, but it's reached only by those who can decode.